Hey everybody, it's Maggie from Personal Euphoria with today's plank story. It's a long story, so I wouldn't plank the whole time, but I might come up with like every move you can do with your shoulders, right? Shoulder shrug, little wiggles, like try to get like your rib cage to move around your shoulders. Just what can you get that sort of shoulder, middle rib cage area to do? Any creativity. All right, so while I do swear, I try not to swear around people who I think would be offended, or I try not to swear at work. However, in this plank story, there'll be one swear because it's relevant to the story. But one person I wouldn't swear in front of or try not to, is Matt's mom, because I don't think she would like it. And we had gone to Sicily it was me and Matt, his mom, my mom, and my stepfather. And part of the goal of this was that we were doing a tour of where Matt's mom's family had come from. And we had gotten a rental car. And of course, it's Sicily, so it's a stick shift. And we found out after we'd left the rental car facility and we're far away from it, that first and reverse were the same location. So when you put it in first, you never knew if you were in first or reverse. And this led to many problems and a couple of minor accidents. And on top of that, while the highways were great in Sicily, once you got into the small towns and villages, they were windy, hilly, which is a problem if you have to stop and you don't know if you have first or reverse in gear, right? Tight roads, people everywhere, everybody driving crazy, flower pots encroaching on the roads. It was challenging driving. And I say to Matt, listen, when we get into these small towns, the driving's just not fun. We need to pull over, park, and if we can't walk from there, we shouldn't go. Everybody's getting tense. I'm being a backseat driver. Your mom's being a backseat driver. You're having to put up with all of us. It's no fun. Let's just walk. So we get into this one town and we want to do lunch, and we park on a hill with a brick wall behind us, and we get out to see if we can walk to the restaurant. And we're kind of walking around, and my stepfather said, if we get past this one bend in the road opens up. I think we can actually get back in the car and drive. So we get back in the car and we're on this hill, and luckily we're in first, and we're actually in first. So we go off, we don't roll into the rock wall. And we go around the bend and the road does open. And then at the next bend, the road just ends. There's a stone wall. You can't go anywhere. And to get back down the street, we have to reverse towards a cliff to turn around. And so we reverse towards this cliff, and now we're about to put it back in first to go back down the hill. But I know, as does everyone in this car, that we don't know the difference between first and reverse. And so my mom puts her head into the crash position and just hugs her knees. And I start very helpfully screaming, "There's a cliff, there's a cliff, be careful, there's a cliff." And my stepfather turns around and says, "Maggie, calm down. When it's your time, it's your time." And I said, "No, absolutely not. I don't want to be in a car with anybody who believes if it's your time, it's your time. I don't want to go over this cliff." At which point, Matt's mom says, "I think you guys should know there's a pole right here on the right." And I look at her and I say, "Fuck the pole. There's a cliff." At which point, we hit the pole. And Matt says, "Everybody out of the car." And we all get out of the car. And I honestly don't even know how this happened. It's we slid sideways into this pole. And Matt and Anthony take some time to maneuver themselves off the pole and out. And we all get in the car, and there is silence. There has not been any silence the whole trip, right? We've been either chatty or again, being backseat drivers or whatever, but there's not been silence. 30 minutes of silence. Until I think we break the ice by laughing about how hysterical this whole situation has become, because in its ridiculousness. And I say to Matt, we've had multiple incidents with this car. There's obviously going to be a price tag when we pull it in. That pole didn't help. But was it worth it for 30 minutes of silence? And Matt says, "Oh yeah, it was worth it." And then I have since made a rule, because this is not the only time I've kind of panicked like that in a strange incident in a motor vehicle. So now I say to Matt, "I'm scared, pull over. You maneuver whatever you want to maneuver here, and I'll get out. I'll meet you on the other side. I'll walk to wherever we need to get. And that is how we've made it 22 years with rules like that. Because Matt's calm in those situations. Like, I'm not helping the situation, really, is the problem. So anyway, that was our Scicily story. We survived. We didn't go off the cliff. And I hope, as always, you have a wonderful day and keep moving.